Alright guys, welcome to another Wish Wednesday. So, in today's Wish Wednesday, we're going to be testing out self-defense equipment. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do a little overview here, and then we're going to test it out. So I have 5 items from Wish, well, 4 from Wish, and then 1 as like a control. We're going to test them out. So our first item from Wish is going to be a classic brass knuckles, even though I don't think these are made of brass. Open these up. They come with a string. I don't know why. Maybe you could tie the string around them and then maybe like wear them like a necklace or something. I don't know, but we don't need the string. First impressions. I mean, seem pretty good to me. That actually just, that kind of hurts. I think that's gonna be good. Our second Wish item. I'm sure you're probably wondering what's in this box. This is a mini baseball bat with a flashlight. You can see it has a flashlight, and the flashlight has different modes. I think that's high, low, and then a strobe. And then, of course, it has this classic hand strap. You know, be walking home or whatever and have this shining wherever you are, and then if somebody tries to attack you or whatever, then it's the mini baseball bat, and you can beat them with it. Definitely looking forward to trying this one out. Our third item, and a very disappointing one, is this. Now, whenever I was on the Wish website, I thought that this was a full-size baton, and that's kind of the way the pictures were, that it made it look like it was a full-size baton, and then I got this in the mail, which obviously is not a full-size baton, and this thing is very pathetic looking. So it works just like any other baton. You just sling it out. So, I mean, what are you going to do with this? This is very, very, very pathetic. I expected a full-size baton. I mean, we're still going to try it out, but I don't know what exactly you would do with this. Maybe, like, take it to a daycare and, like, smack little kids' hands. Be like, no, no. I don't think we're going to be able to do much with this one. So, and then our fourth item, and one that isn't really, I don't view this as a self-defense item, but whenever I was on Wish, whenever I typed in self-defense, it was in that section, so I bought it anyway. Does anybody know what this is? This is a bullwhip, or just a whip. I guess it doesn't have to be a bullwhip, but it's like an Indiana Jones style whip. Like, even though it was only like $10 or something, it actually will crack pretty loud. Maybe the sound would be deterring or something, but I don't really know what we're gonna do with this. And then our last item, and kind of our like control, is this. A Smith & Wesson baton, which is like a police grade baton. I thought this one was gonna be this size. This one, obviously, all of these other items from Wish together were probably like $30 altogether, and this just by itself was like $60, so obviously it's better quality. So this is the baton, and it works just like any other baton. You just sling it out, and obviously it's much longer. This one is like the size of the handle of this one. So if I had to guess, I would say out of everything that this is probably gonna do the best, but we'll see. Let's start testing. All right, so it is time to test our self-defense weapons. And obviously I have a punching bag hung up here, so this is gonna be our little test dummy. He's gonna be taking the brunt of all of our hits. First item, the brass knuckles. I think I had that upside down. The brass knuckles. Let's just put them on and just throw a punch and see what that feels like. Okay. Ow. Okay, first problem. That didn't, obviously I didn't even hit that hard. But what's happening here, and it could just be because these brass knuckles are from Wish, so they're not like fit right or made right, or this might be a problem with all brass knuckles. But what happened, at least to me just now, is whenever I punch, as soon as I would hit the bag, they would kind of like turn just a little bit, just kind of, you know, just a little bit of movement there. And then only on my pinky, that it would like, I don't know how to describe it, it like just kind of like cranked weird on my pinky. So it just feels like it almost just feels like someone took my pinky and just kind of like twisted it. And that really hurt. Like if that's how it's gonna feel every time I threw a punch, I would much rather just punch bare knuckle than to use brass knuckles. I'm gonna try to throw my punch a little bit different. Maybe put them kind of lower, maybe. Yeah, yeah, brass knuckles suck. I was kind of wearing them like this, you know, and punching like this, and then that time I kind of slid my hand back and put them over these knuckles, so that way, you know, it wasn't as much on my pinky, and I was just kind of, you know, kind of punching kind of weird. That still hurt. That was not quite as bad as having them all the way up here where it was kind of just like twisting on my pinky, but that time it's just, if you were gonna hit somebody, if you were just gonna punch with your bare fist, that doesn't hurt nearly as bad as it does with this, and then you have this bar down here just jamming into the palm of your hand. That hurts way worse than just punching bare knuckle. I think if it came down to it, I would much rather just just fight bare knuckle than to try to use these, because you're gonna end up hurting yourself way worse using these. Let's move on to something else. All right, so let's move on to the miniature baton from Wish. So here's the first problem with this thing. So it has a pocket clip. So let's say let's put it in my pocket, and let's say this is an attacker. So if I'm standing here, you know, I'm walking, and then this guy tries to attack me, and I pull this out and sling it open. If I'm this guy looking at somebody like me with this, the first thing that I'm probably gonna think, I'm not gonna think that this is a baton and that I'm gonna get hit with it. Probably what I'm gonna think is I'm gonna think that whoever this person is with this, I'm gonna think that they just pulled like a magic wand out of their pocket and they're gonna try to like put some type of like spell on me or something rather than hit me with it. There's not much of an intimidation factor with this. You kind of just look like a like a wizard that you just pulled this out and you're just gonna abracadabra. But so that's problem number one with this thing. Problem number two is, yeah, the pocket clip is handy, but it really messes up your grip because you really have to, and it's not very sturdy. It's very flimsy. It just kind of goes all over the place. So you have to have it in the right spot on your grip for it to even be comfortable. See how hard you can hit with this thing. So let's say whoever's attacking you doesn't believe that you're a wizard and they don't get freaked out and you end up having to hit them. So, I mean, this pocket clip really sucks. Because it really hurts your hand whenever it's like kind of torquing in your hand. But as far as a self-defense tool, I mean, it's just so small. I mean, I guess if I was attacking somebody and they came at me, I mean, I wouldn't want to get hit by that. And it didn't bend. Like, I kind of thought that as soon as I hit it really hard, I kind of thought that maybe it would like bend or something. But so far it hasn't. I mean, those are some hard hits, and nothing's happening. But also with this one, see, this is the end that you hold and you sling out the baton part. But on the bottom part, there's like a spike that I'm assuming could be used for like a glass breaker. Or if you didn't want to use it for a glass breaker, if you just pulled this out of your pocket and like just kind of held it like in a reverse grip like this, say you didn't know that this person was going to attack you, but you wanted to be ready. If you didn't want to hold it like this and have to sling this out, you could just take this point and just stab. And that would work. You could just, I mean, that's gonna get somebody off of you. If you have a reverse grip, you could stab this way, in the worst case scenario, just sling it out, and then hit them. I don't think this thing is as bad as I thought. I think it could be effective. So let's go on to the next one. So next up, we have our miniature bat with a built-in flashlight. So something that I was curious about with this, obviously, you're gonna be able to hit with it, because it's not solid, but it's, you know, pretty sturdy. But I wanted to see if you could hit really hard and then if it would mess up the flashlight or not. You know, you're just walking home, you're shining your flashlight, and then this big bag tries to attack you. Light still works. Seems like it came a little bit loose there, but that's no big deal. Okay, that does what it's meant to do. I'm really surprised that didn't like bend or do anything. I mean, I hit that hard. still works. So, did what it's meant to do. All right, and now we move on to our bullwhip. I mean, this is just a joke. There's no way you're really gonna like, well, how are you gonna conceal this thing? Like, put it down the back of your shirt and then like, put it down the back of your shirt and then run it all the way down and then like, all the way down your leg or something, and then just keep it back here, and then whenever someone comes attack you, you're just gonna like whip out this big bullwhip and then just. I mean, that sounds loud, and I'm sure that would hurt, but that's so unpractical. But like, if somebody was attacking you, what are you just gonna like stand all the way back here and just be like, yeah, yeah, yeah? I mean, I guess you could do that. I don't know. What are you, a cowboy? What is this, like the 1800s? I mean, if somebody was attacking you, would you really, what would you think if they pulled out a bullwhip like this? I mean, if you got caught with one of these, sure, it'd probably slow you down, but it's all somebody would have to do is if you whipped them with it, if they just grabbed a hold of it and pulled it away from you, then you're done. I mean, this is just stupid. But if we went into a fantasy land and say you were like, well, say you had this thing wrapped around here, and then you were like a master bullwhipper, and you could really just work a bullwhip. Hey, like this. Oh, that hit me in the face. I don't know. I mean, could it be effective? Sure. I mean, I'm sure if there was like some crackhead trying to attack you and you pulled out this, I'm sure you could probably get them away from you because they'd be freaked out, but this is not a very good self-defense tool. All right, and last but not least, the Smith & Wesson baton, which, for me, I think this is gonna be my favorite. The bat with the flashlight, it was tough and you could hit as hard as you want to with it, pretty much, and it's not gonna break. But this one is longer, so it keeps you a farther distance away from somebody. So you can hit them and stay a good distance away. And the handle's bigger, so if it's like, say, a really big person and you need both hands, you can really put all your body weight into it. And it's long, but it's also lightweight, so you can. So I mean, you could really hurt somebody with this thing if you really had to. Not surprisingly, I think this one is the best out of all of them. But only really because of the reach. Because I think this one is 2 feet, so that keeps you 2 feet away from anything. But it doesn't seem like it's built that much better than the little one, because the little one looked like it had the same exact design, and with the little one I was still able to swing just as hard as I could, and nothing happened. So let's move on to the next test. All right, guys, moving on to test number 2. I think you can kind of make out what's going to happen here. I have 2 cinder blocks, 1, 2, and then I have 4 pieces of oak, all 1 foot long. I have 4 pieces of 1/2 inch and 4 pieces of 3/4. So, what I'm going to do is put each piece in between the 2 cinder blocks, obviously, and then take each individual item and try to hit it and break it in half and see if each item is strong enough to break a 1/2 inch piece of oak in half. And then if it does the 1/2 inch, then we'll move on to the 3/4. Now, obviously, I don't think this is gonna work. I mean, what are we gonna? Maybe the handle. We're gonna take the bullwhip and just kind of chuck it off to the side where it belongs. And first, we're gonna do the brass knuckles, which at this point are pretty much my arch enemy because my pinky still hurts. I don't know exactly how I want to do this. I don't want to hurt my pinky. I'm gonna try to like hold my wrist at this weird angle. I'm gonna try to only hit with just the middle 2 knuckles. Here we go. Oh, yeah, that hurt. That really hurt. Let's try again. Oh, that really hurt. That bar just jamming into your hand, that hurts way, way, way more than you think it does. Everything in my mind is telling me not to do this. That's how that hurt my knuckle. Alright, so brass knuckles, pretty much useless. I better switch this board out because I know somebody in the comments will complain and say, that board already got hit. Now we're gonna do the miniature baseball bat with the flashlight. Actually, I'm gonna kind of move it to the edge, maybe, just so I don't end up, just so I don't end up punching the table if it goes through. 3, 2. Well, it kind of like splintered it, kind of cracked the edge. Let's give it another good whack. I didn't know where that went. I mean, it broke it, but it didn't snap it in half like I thought it would. It just kind of broke off the edges. But I guess oak is just so hard. The middle wasn't the weakest link. If you look at our bat, it looks good. It doesn't look like anything's really happened to it. Light still works. It's pretty good. Let's move these in just a little bit closer, and then maybe they won't, maybe the things won't break in half like that, or they won't break on the corners. All right, so let's move on to the miniature baton, or our magic wand. I guess from hitting the bag has like been dented or something, because you can see it just kind of flops around. I did not know that. So you can just take it off with the end cap. Let's see what we can do with this little miniature magic wand. 3, 2, 1. That kind of hurt my wrist, where it kind of snapped back a little bit. A little tiny dent right there. I think that's probably going to be about as much as we can get out of it. It just, I don't think it has enough weight to swing through and actually really break anything. That doesn't mean it's not effective. It's just not meant for breaking boards. That brings us to our big baton. Hopefully this one can do something. I'm gonna swing this one with both hands, right there, right in the middle. 3, 2, 1. Well, that it didn't break it in half, like, this way, the way I thought it would. Split it in half this way a little bit. Let's give that one more swing. But instead of hitting it like, I think I hit it probably about here, let's try to hit it more like up here. Okay, now you can see that it's starting to separate there. Let's give it another good one. There we go. Looks like our big baton was the only one that was strong enough to break the oak. Alright, so it seems like, to no surprise, this one is the strongest. I really thought that it would like bend or something, but everything seems to still move nice and smoothly. So, let's move on to the next one. Alright, so for our final test, I have this cinder block that has already been obviously busted up. What I want to do is just take these things and see if we can just bust up this cinder block. Just see how they hold up. Even though I don't want to, the first one is going to be the brass knuckles. This time I'm going to wear a welding glove. Don't want to get my fingers cut or anything. And I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to, after everything else that I've done with these stupid brass knuckles, I'm not going to just hit it as hard as I can. I'm going to go kind of easy. So, sorry, but not sorry. Because it hurts so bad. Oh, you know what? I should probably wear safety glasses. See, I'm not completely reckless. Sometimes I do wear safety glasses. See what we can do. Oh, that hurts so bad. Maybe we'll go on the edge. Yeah, we can make chips on the edge. How these ever got popular? Because these suck so bad. Yeah. Yep. Those hurt so bad. I know some of you are probably watching this and you're thinking like, oh, you're just being a baby. Go buy a pair of brass knuckles and punch a concrete block with them and tell me it doesn't hurt, because it does. Our little magic wand, still right here. Seems to be the same problem as before. It's breaking off little pieces here and there, but I just don't think it has enough weight. Little piece of cinder block flew off. I thought it was a piece of this thing that flew off. Oh, maybe I am getting somewhere. Oh, look at that. Okay. You just gotta really put your back into it. Let's see. Huh. That's a surprising. I would have thought that it would have at least bent. So I guess the trick is not to hit it with the tip, it's just to hit it like on the side like this. I don't think it really did anything. Alright, flip it around to that spike right here. Maybe we'll try harder. I guess the spike's not made for breaking concrete or cinder block. So this thing's actually, I'm impressed. I'm super, super impressed that it's still this smooth and that it hasn't bent. All right, let's move on to our little bat. I definitely do want to test the light, make sure it still works after all this. Let's go here. A piece of that hit me in the beard. See, it's kind of getting dented there, but wow. Does the light still work? I'm gonna say no. Nope. The light doesn't work. I can see that the little LED has popped off. Yeah, the light doesn't work anymore, but if you were beating somebody this bad, you're not gonna miss the light. A little crack. I think we're gonna have a problem. I mean, this is tough. I mean, it is like kind of breaking right here, but I mean, come on, it's already smashed a cinder block pretty much to pieces. I give that a pass. That's impressive. Let's move on to our big baton. I suspect that this will probably do pretty good. As expected. It's actually not getting as damaged as much as I thought. If there was any question that this thing wasn't durable. Same story with this one. Still moves in and out, no problem. No dents. And I think that is a good place to end it. Little review, brass knuckles, not worth it. They put you in more harm than, it does more harm than good. If you're gonna like fight somebody with brass knuckles, you're much better off just fighting bare knuckle than you are with brass knuckles. These little mini batons, or magic wands as I called it, after everything that I've done with it, I can't deny it. It's good. This flashlight, I mean, yeah, it is kind of breaking right here, but that's after it smashed a cinder block. More than likely, if you hit a person that hard, more than likely it's not going to happen unless you're like, I don't know, maybe if you hit them like in the elbow or something. And the only downside that happened was the light quit working. This is definitely worth it. The police baton, obviously, I'll venture to say it's probably the best item here, but it was also the most expensive. So seriously looking for a self-defense item and you can afford one, if you don't feel comfortable carrying like a taser, then a baton like this would probably do pretty good as long as you had a little bit of training with it. Somebody was attacking you and you tried to hit them and then they took this away from you, then you're in really deep trouble. I think the moral of the story here is that all of these things from Wish, they're way better than I thought they'd be. I honestly expected to get all these things from Wish and to like not even get to this test. I figured that after trying to break the boards, I figured all the Wish items would break. That was the original reason why I bought this to begin with, because I was gonna compare this with everything else, because I expected all of this stuff to break within the first test. I recommend them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.